You know that feeling when you're scrolling through TikTok and it feels like the app knows you better than you know yourself? It's an unbelievably powerful piece of AI. And while that leads to a really tempting question, which is what we're going to dig into right now. I mean, on the surface, it kind of makes sense, right? If an AI is so good at predicting the exact next video you want to see, couldn't it also predict the next stock that's about to pop? It's a super fascinating what if. But to really get to the bottom of it, we first have to understand what makes that algorithm tick in the first place.
So, first up, we need to break down what makes TikTok's algorithm so ridiculously good at its job. And you have to remember, its job, its one and only job, is to keep you watching.
At its core, TikTok is basically a giant recommender system. Think of it as a predictive engine. But it's not predicting the weather or who's going to win the Super Bowl. It's predicting you. More specifically, it's predicting exactly what content will be so engaging that you physically can't bring yourself to scroll away. So how does it actually build that prediction? Well, it uses this really clever hybrid approach. First, there's something called content-based filtering. This part looks at the what, the specific sounds, the hashtags, the topics of the videos you've already liked, and it just goes out and finds more of the same. Then, it layers on collaborative filtering, which is all about the who. It finds other users out there who are basically your taste twins and shows you what's popular with them. It's a great way to discover new stuff. And by blending both of these, it creates that perfect For You page that feels both super familiar and surprisingly new all at once.
And this really gets to the heart of the matter. Every single piece of that system, every line of code, is completely and totally laser-focused on one thing and one thing only: engagement. Not truth, not real-world value, not accuracy. Just keeping your eyes on that screen. And that single-mindedness, well, that's where the problems really start.
That relentless focus on just keeping you engaged is precisely where this whole idea runs into a brick wall. Because when you try to apply that same exact goal to the world of finance, you get this fundamental clash of purpose. Here it is, the core conflict, plain and simple. A social media algorithm is built to maximize user engagement. A financial algorithm is built to maximize what's called risk-adjusted return. These aren't just different goals. You could argue they're polar opposites. One is designed to chase attention. The other is designed to chase actual value. For an app like TikTok, success is all about metrics that capture pure emotion and virality. How long did you watch? Did you like it? Did you share it? Did you comment? It's all about finding content that hits you in the feels and makes you want to pass it on. The more buzz, the better. Now, you flip over to finance, and the success metrics are from a totally different planet. Yeah, beating the market is great, but it has to be done inside this rigid framework of managing risk and making sure you're diversified. It's all based on decades of economic theory, not on what's trending this week. The very definition of a good outcome is just worlds apart.
So, this clash of goals is a huge problem. But it gets even worse when you look at the raw material each of these systems is working with, the data itself.
Think about it. Your taste in videos is actually pretty stable. If you liked videos about baking yesterday, you're probably going to like them tomorrow too. That's predictable data. Financial markets, they are the complete opposite. They're what's called non-stationary, meaning they're constantly changing. And, crucially, they're adversarial. There are millions of other people out there actively trying to outsmart you, and their actions directly affect the outcome. So let's just put this all together. You've got different objectives, you've got wildly different kinds of data, and as you can see, that combination leads to very, very different risks. On social media, the worst thing that happens is you get stuck in a filter bubble. In finance, the worst thing that happens is a market crash. This mismatch creates a really terrifying feedback loop. If a TikTok-style algorithm recommends a stock just because it's getting popular, that recommendation makes more people buy it. That pushes the price up, which then makes the stock look like an even better recommendation to the algorithm. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The algorithm stops predicting value, it starts manufacturing a speculative bubble that's totally disconnected from reality.
So let's talk about those real-world consequences, because this is not just some theoretical exercise.
We're all pretty familiar with this concept by now, right? A filter bubble is when an algorithm only shows you stuff it thinks you'll like, which reinforces your beliefs and creates a little personal echo chamber. It's a known issue for sure, but the stakes are, relatively low. But here's the scary part. You apply that same exact logic to the stock market, and that filter bubble inflates into a full-blown market bubble. It's the identical mechanism, just reinforcing what's popular, but the outcome is potentially catastrophic. So, what is a market bubble? It's when sheer hype and herd behavior drive an asset's price way, way beyond what the thing is actually worth. And the problem with bubbles is that they don't just gently leak air, they pop. And that pop often leads to a sudden, devastating crash that can wipe out people's savings in an instant. And the dangers here are systemic. An engagement-based algorithm would be a dream come true for market manipulators running pump and dump schemes. It would amplify herd behavior on a massive scale. And it would create this dangerous concentration of risk, where seemingly everyone owns the same few popular stocks, making the entire market incredibly fragile. On top of all of that, you have what's called the black box problem. Financial regulators have rules, and one of them is that you have to be able to explain why you're recommending a particular investment. But these deep learning models, like the one TikTok uses, are often so complex that even the engineers who built them can't fully explain why it made a specific choice. And in a regulated industry, that's a complete non-starter. Okay, so does all this mean that this kind of personalization tech has no place in finance at all? No, absolutely not. It just means we have to be a whole lot smarter about how we use it. Instead of trying to get the tech to tell you what to buy, it can be an incredible tool to help you understand how to invest. It could deliver a personalized financial education curriculum just for you. It could help create a much more detailed profile of your personal risk tolerance. Or it could just analyze your existing portfolio and flag potential risks. It's about empowering the user, not making decisions for them. And that is the fundamental shift in thinking. The goal isn't to replace human investors with some all-knowing algorithm. It's about building tools that augment our own intelligence, tools that can do the heavy lifting on data analysis so that we can make smarter, more informed decisions for ourselves. Which brings us to a final thought. We started all this by asking if the TikTok algorithm could make you rich, and the answer is a pretty clear no. But if we shift the goal away from just giving out advice and toward personalized education, maybe that same technology could become something even more valuable, the most effective and accessible finance teacher the world has ever seen.
All right, the learning doesn't have to stop here. If you want to explore even more, I've built the perfect place for you at sophie-ai-finance.com to unlock a new way of learning. Think of it as your personal learning toolkit. If you just want the big picture, you can watch the video or listen to the podcast. It's perfect for getting the main concepts down while you're on the go. But if sometimes you need to hit the pause button and really let an idea sink in, you can visit the blog article. It has all the details, charts, and text from our discussion so you can review everything at your own pace. And for those of you who want to see all the math, data, and the complete nitty-gritty behind the analysis, well, I've got a full research paper waiting for you, so you can really dig into the details and see how everything works under the hood. It's all there, all for you. And hey, if you have any ideas for new topics about finance and AI you'd like me to cover, please leave me a message. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.